Hello there. It's been a while since we did one of these. I figured, what better way to mark the return of real reviews than to fill up our very Invincible-less Wednesday by talking about what else? Invincible's fourth season soared onto our TVs via Amazon Prime on March 18th, and boy oh boy did it start a discourse. First things first, let's start with the elephant in the room, the thing that everyone is talking about when it comes to arguably Amazon's most popular IP at the moment, the animation. The animation of Invincible has been a topic of discussion for the show's entire run, with many fans and critics alike pointing to the show's simplistic art style as a major sore spot. That discourse grew infinitely louder as many bemoaned the at times laughable mistakes in the animation of this previous season. I'll be honest here, it's hard for me to engage with this part of the discourse as a non-anime enjoyer. My animation tastes are not developed enough to be bothered by the animation style of this show, and outside of a few pretty obvious animation mistakes, I wasn't all that bothered by it. Sorry. Not that I can't understand why people are frustrated. When this show debuted 4 years ago, it was a niche, under-the-radar project that most people outside of the hardcore comic book sphere had never heard of. Fast forward to now, and it is, as I said, arguably the biggest IP on the Amazon docket, so it's more than reasonable that fans have expected the animation to keep up with the prominence of the show, and the fact that the Invincible of today is basically indistinguishable from the Invincible of the premiere episode is a very fair source of contention for those who are bothered by such things. That being said, I am not one of those people, so we're just going to move on to the things that I can talk about you with, which is everything else. I love the way Invincible structures its seasons. I think for a show that has such cosmic events going on constantly in the background, it does a great job of finding a way to house all of this madness within 8 single episodes. There is a lot going on with that within the world of Invincible at all times. The fact that they are able to dial all this down within 8 episodes is kind of a crazy feat, which somehow people complain about. There is this magical thing in the world of film and television called pacing, and I think for the most part, Invincible does a pretty good job of it. The world building, as per usual, is top tier. The construction of not only the planets and their inhabitants, but the separate cultures as well. The universe of Invincible is one of the most vast and creative in all of fiction, and I find myself constantly impressed at the imagination of Kirkman and his team at Amazon. Of course, the world building is all in service to what the real draw of Invincible is, which is the characters. The arcs this season were all handled pretty great with a couple exceptions. Here are some that stuck out the most to me this season. Wasn't exactly a fan of what they did with Eve this year. She's running the whole losing her powers arc, and while it ultimately does lead to a very important and emotionally charged moment, it also sidelines one of the most interesting and engaging people in the story for the entire 4th season, which, isn't great. Oliver is probably the most annoying character this season, but I imagine that is by design, as our pint-sized, part-insect crime fighter is now in those terrible teen years, arrogant, overconfident, and at times plain stupid. Oliver makes the same near-fatal mistakes as Mark at breakneck speeds this season, all while having the entitled attitude you would expect from any teenager with superpowers. I will say, Debbie is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters on the show. She's definitely my favorite human character, not that she has a lot of competition outside of Cecil. Debbie has been through the ringer in this series, from being called a pet by her literal at-the-time husband, to the multiple occasions she spent by a hospital bed nursing one of her children back to health. Debbie has been hit as hard emotionally as anyone has taken an actual punch in the show, and despite the fact that her family seems to be particularly targeted when it comes to these world-ending events, she keeps it pushing. Debbie, in many ways, is the perfect representation of the indomitable human spirit that no matter how dire or insane the circumstances she's faced with, she just keeps it pushing and supporting all the people that she loves so dearly. Speaking of the people that she loves or may love in the future so dearly, Nolan has been an interesting part of this season. Probably the most fascinating part of this season in terms of characters. Watching Nolan experience the consequences of his actions in the name of his home planet Viltrum for likely the very first time in his life is wild. Watching someone try to grapple with not guilt the feeling, but guilt the concept is very fun. He is a member of a race of genetically advanced super soldiers conditioned from birth to respect nothing but strength and violence. Watching him try to grasp at the concept of other emotions makes him one of the most fun characters to watch this season. It's also admittedly pretty satisfying to watch Nolan catch an endless amount of sass from essentially the entire cast for, murdering people in season 1. And then there's the man himself. Mark Grayson is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. His never-ending commitment to doing the right thing despite the circumstances is genuinely one of the most likable qualities I have ever seen in a main character before. Mark isn't perfect. God, is he not perfect? He contradicts himself, makes logical errors, can be nonsensically stubborn and hard-headed, and if we're being honest, isn't even all that smart, just kind of generally. But Mark is just a good person. And that is the best way I can describe it to you. He is the best person fit to have these powers. He is a person who is going to always try to do the right thing and what he always thinks is right. And that is a quality too often in media that is downplayed as genuinely rare and likable. He is a classic hero in a very non-classic hero's tale. And maybe this isn't as compelling to the rest of you as it is to me, but damn, I'm having a good time with it. Season 4 of Invincible isn't perfect. There's a lot to complain about, from the animation to some of the less interesting character arcs. But it's a pretty good season nonetheless. It's not even the best season of Invincible, as I've pointed out, but it's another great chapter in the sprawling novel that is Robert Kirkman's blood-soaked capes and tights epic. With that in mind, I have to give Season 4 of Invincible an admirable 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you all for watching, and I appreciate your support. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews like this one. Check them out on the YouTube channel today. Be sure to come back to us next week, as I am going to be reviewing Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, as well as here soon reviewing Season 5 of The Boys. So make sure you keep up with us here at Planet Comedy for all of that and much more in the future. Once again, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very soon.